Here we go!
G'day folks and welcome to the Vookcast, Australia's Nintendo podcast. My name's Oliver Brandt and in this episode I'm joined by Angelo Valdivia.
Hey Paisanos.
And Luke Henderson.
Hello there.
As is tradition with this show, shortly after we recorded the last episode, there was a full-on Nintendo Direct. This happens every single time we record well, not every time we record an episode, but every time there's a Nintendo Direct or some sort of big news or presentation or whatever, it happens just after we record the last episode, and that is true here as well. But it was the first general Nintendo Direct since the launch of the Nintendo Switch 2. And it had a lot in it. It went for an hour, the first 20 minutes of which was Mario related stuff.
Mario 40th Direct. Then there was a Pokemon Presents in the middle there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's a whole lot. So we're gonna go through it all. I think there are some really fantastic announcements in here and some that are fine. But we'll start with some of the Mario stuff. And one of the big things, I don't think we have the movie news in here, do we?
No, the only reason I didn't put it in is just the logo, like just the logo and the name.
Yeah.
I didn't think we had that on the list.
So it was announced that the sequel to the Super Mario Brothers movie is Super Mario Galaxy.
Yeah, boy.
Which great direction for them to go. But in order to like tie in with that, Nintendo is releasing updated sort of remasters-ish of Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario Galaxy 2 on the Switch. So they are based on the Wii versions, obviously, and even have like Wii buttons for the most part, I think.
Yeah, all the prompts and everything, all the menus when it pops up are all the giant Wii buttons that all the Nintendo games on the Wii had.
Yeah. So yeah, it is coming to Switch. It will also have a Switch 2 update, which adds mouse controls, higher resolutions, and all of that stuff. Mouse controls, I think, is going to be very good. Yeah. There's no word currently on if saves from the 3D All-Stars version of Galaxy are compatible. They're probably not going to be just due to the nature of it. Yeah, I think this is great. And they are like 40, they're 40 US, they're $60 a piece in Australia. Or 90
That,
for both of them.
I think that stings the most out of all this. That was the real dampener on this announcement, I feel.
I think... Now, this might come as a surprise to you, but I'm going to justify this somewhat. I think Nintendo sees
let you know
this...
if you justify it.
I think Nintendo sees this the same way that they see Metroid Prime Remastered, which is priced the same per game. In that, like, it is a visual update, like they have done visual updates. There is new camera stuff that they've shown, so it's not always necessarily the same fixed camera that was in the originals. They've implemented new controls. There's new story content. Like it's not just like a straight port. It's not much more than a straight port, but it's not just a straight port. So I think Nintendo is looking at it like that compared to...
There's enhancements to the offering, but my counter argument would be that Metroid Prime Remastered was a full-on remaster, whereas this is not. I don't have an issue with paying for the game again, and it would just be Mario Galaxy 2 because I already have Mario Galaxy 1 on Switch. I don't need to buy a second copy of the same game on the same platform. I'm not that crazy, but I would just counterpoint this, like, if they'd done a lot to this, like updated all the textures and everything and brought it up to sort of at least Switch standard, then I would be okay with it. But they're not doing that. They're doing just the barest minimum and expecting people to be okay with paying that high price. I don't think that's right.
And like, I get that the game is 15 years old now, right? Came out in 2010, so it's a long time ago. But the fact that this game, to get one of these, costs just about as much as the Mario 3D All-Stars collection did, and you get Mario Galaxy 1 in that as well anyway. I think that's a bit unfair to sort of expect that from people to buy each of these now for $60. Like, if it was down to like 40, maybe I think that would be a decent thing. Like, it's an easier pill to swallow. But this one, I'm just like, I really want to get Mario Galaxy 2, but I might just hold off. I might just hold off until like it's on sale, like a lot of Nintendo games tend to be these days digitally, where they are coming down. Like Metroid Prime Remastered is currently down to like $40 on the eShop.
It is.
So maybe I'll just wait a year or two and get it there, even though I really want to go back and play it. Like, that's the thing. Like, I've got so many games backed up now where when something like this happens, like I can just wait. Like I will wait. I don't feel the pressure to have to go out and buy the new game just because it's out anymore, because I know that I have so many games in my backlog anyway, because there are always, really great games coming out these days. Yeah. So I think Nintendo does a disservice to itself by doing this. In saying that, like, there are plenty of people who go out there and buy it brand new for this price anyway, so how much are they really hurting? But for me, like, I don't feel the pressure at all to buy this game. Like, I just will wait. So
yeah, that's fair. I mean, like, I'll probably buy Galaxy 2 because I do have Galaxy 1 in the 3D All-Stars collection.
And that's exactly what I'd do, is just buy that single release. But again, as Angelo said, if that was down, look, I'd be okay with $49.95 because I know they're doing a bit more to it than just porting it. I'd be okay with that. But even still, at that price, you'd want to have a little bit more than just porting. I just don't think... I think Nintendo's gotten into this habit where they justify to themselves that because they're bringing it to a new platform, it has to be a higher price, and it's not entirely true. Like, we've seen it before where they did it with Virtual Console. Sorry, like on the Wii, the games were 500 points, but then on the Wii U, they were say $5. Now they were $8. It's like, just because it's on new hardware doesn't mean you charge more for the same thing, and I just don't think it makes sense in today's gaming landscape with how all the console costs, like Xbox just upped their price in America again, but all the price of everything keeps going up, and I don't think you can justify in charging as much as you are for a game when all you're doing is porting it. You're not recreating everything, you're just bringing it across from an older platform, and I don't think you can justify that price for that little effort.
It's just bizarre, right? Because like now that we finally have this like collection duology, whatever you want to call it, coming out, right? We finally see the grand plan of making 3D All-Stars Unlimited release come to fruition, right? Because now all three games are now available. You can just get them, or eventually, soon they will be available when Mario Galaxy comes out. So that means on NSO, you've now got Mario 64 and you've got Sunshine on the GameCube app. So those two.
Sunshine isn't there yet, but it will be.
Sorry,
they have said
it will be there.
Yeah.
Sorry, so that will be there eventually. So once that comes out, like the whole trifecta will be out in that case. So we finally have that happening, but yeah, in order to, I don't know, man, it always stings whenever Nintendo just comes out charging this premium on older games. I get that their argument is always, well, we see so much value in our games. Of course, everyone who releases a product sees so much value in their product. Like, let's not be stupid here, Like, of course they're going to say that line, but at the same time, it's just like, it's just always just that little bit further. It's kind of like they give an inch, they want an arm type of thing. Mm-hmm. They just want to take a little bit more than what they really should, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, I think Nintendo knows that, like, the company sets prices at exactly the highest price point that they know that customers will still buy it. Like, they're never going to do anything out of goodwill and offer it at a lower price just because they can, right? They know people will buy this at $60. So it doesn't really matter what it could be priced at lower, but people will buy it at $60. Especially with the movie coming out, and they're going to have, like, physical copies on shelves, and probably, I don't know, whether or not they bundle it is another thing, but they could. Like, it's a Nintendo pricing it at what they know people will pay. And it was exactly the same when they, started selling, like, Mario Kart World for, what, $120, $130? More expensive than most games.
Yeah, but then the rose-tinted glasses on that game came out, and people haven't been buying it as much, and instead they've gone back and bought Mario Kart 8.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I think it's still going to be like a 40 million seller.
Sure, like, it's still going to sell well because it's a Mario Kart game, but I don't think it's going to sell anywhere near the heights of Mario Kart 8 will. And like, Nintendo has misstepped with prices before. Like, they they did that with the 3DS, and then they came out hat in hand and did a huge price drop, and then made that ambassadors program and gave away a bunch of free, virtual console games and stuff. So they're not entirely infallible when it comes to pricing their products.
Yeah.
As we'll probably bring up soon as well, regarding a blast from the past with a chunk of plastic you can stick to your face.
I've always been of the opinion that I'm happy to pay for a game if I know I'm going to get value from it. And for me, value isn't, I'll get 10 hours, so I only expect to pay $50. Right? No. The value for me is, will I enjoy my time with the game? Yes or no? Will I enjoy, re-experiencing something that I have fun memories of? Yes or no? For me, I have no issue paying money for the Galaxy games coming on Switch, but I just think the price Nintendo asking just doesn't justify for that experience, especially because I have the games on my Wii. I have the games on my Wii U. I can play them now, today, and not have to worry and not have to wait another couple of weeks for the Switch versions to come out. I just don't think, as Angelo said, Nintendo have their pricing sort of strategy, and they do occasionally flub, and I think something like this is a flub. I think they need to reevaluate how much they're willing to.
Right. Because it's been sort of hinted at in the direct, we don't know for sure, but it has been hinted at that there is like full camera control, which is notably not in the original releases. If it does come out that there is proper like full camera control in this, do you think the price is worth it because they've massively overhauled the controls and camera?
No,
I think adding like the functionality that a second stick will, bring justifies like a higher price necessarily. That's the limitation of the original console on the game. That's not like them blowing the doors open.
The game was built around not having proper camera controls in the first place. Look, if a game was originally unplayable because it didn't have proper camera controls and they've now made it playable, then sure, that would be something different. But the games were completely playable. People loved those games.
Well,
so
I mean, that's the same argument you can make for Bubsy 3D.
Well, nobody really liked Bubsy 3D in the first place.
No one liked Bubsy 3D.
For me, I suffer from quite bad motion sickness in video games, and one of the things that triggers that quite badly is fixed camera angles in a game that is like Mario Galaxy. So I really struggled to play Mario Galaxy. For me, full camera control would instantly justify the price for this. I know that's not like a widespread thing. A lot of people just like want it as a quality of life edition, and I think the biggest issue with this is that Mario Galaxy in the 3D All-Stars collection isn't being updated for Switch 2. Like it's not getting all of the new stuff. I think that would be a nice gesture of goodwill to the people who did buy that expensive limited edition game previously. I think if people who did that just got like Galaxy 1 for free, or they updated it or whatever, I think that would be a much more tenable situation. But yeah, it is too high a price as it is. But yeah, if it does have full camera control, again, I don't know if it does, but if it does, then like I will regrettably buy both of them because I can't play through them currently without just being horrifically nauseous.
My real question there would be, how would camera control work when you have to have your on-screen reticule picking up all your little star bits all the time? Like,
because you can do that with the gyro on the Pro controller already in Mario Galaxy 1 on the 3D All-Stars collection.
Yeah, but imagine trying to do that and move Mario and control the camera all at once with one
man, kids can do that, dude. Have you seen them on Fortnite? Like, they can do that.
Yeah, it's doable. It would take a bit to adapt to, but yeah, I think it would be doable. I also don't give a fuck about star bits.
Or you just get little sibling mode and you get a friend to come in and do it for you.
Exactly.
I just want to quickly touch on the movie. Like, I'm super. As soon as they said it was going to be a Mario Galaxy movie, like I was very, very excited about that. We're completely skipping world and going straight to Galaxy, which I'm in favor of.
Which I find that to be a weird choice, but at the same time, I think because everyone knows world, I think Galaxy, it's honestly a pun intended, but it gives them a galaxy to explore. Whereas Mario World is like, how many times can you visit the Mushroom Kingdom?
Yeah, I think it's just because they're already going to have, other films that will take place within their own little, biospheres. Like the Mario one is set in the Mushroom Kingdom, the Zelda one's going to be set in Hyrule. Presumably there'll be a Donkey Kong one at some point as well. Whereas this one does kind of, go to a new frontier in some respects. But I feel like it's just going to be a lot more exciting. They can do a lot more cooler things. I mean, they've already got what's the little star dude, the little nihilistic one called again? What's
I mean, they're Lumas.
from the film?
I don't know if he has an.
Yeah, they've already introduced the Luma in the first film, so now they can go further with that. Be interesting to see who's cast as Rosalina because they haven't announced that yet, have they?
No.
Yeah, so that'll be an interesting choice. I'm
saying Brie Larson.
I mean, yeah, fair enough. I think I remember when Mario Galaxy came out, and that really stood so strongly up against all the other HD games at the time. At the end of 2007, you had Halo 3, you had Gears of War, it was already a year old at this point. You had all these really great looking spectacle HD games, and then Mario Galaxy came out, and it looked just as good as those on this little SD capable console. And I'm just really excited to see what they can do in a film with that kind of artistic direction and exciting new places and characters and things like that. It'll be really, really fun.
I will also say I'm super keen on hearing some of the Mario Galaxy music by a full orchestra.
That's the other thing, right? I really hope that Illumination really just holds itself back and does not use stupid licensed music in this film. They've got so much good music to use.
Licensed music when they're in the Mushroom Kingdom or something, sure, right?
Mario
brought over his Walkman from Brooklyn, that's fine. But once they're in outer space, this is no Guardians of the Galaxy shit. We don't want pop music. We want...
Yeah, if they play Don't Sleep Till Brooklyn in this film, I will riot. I will chicken jockey that theater. My God.
I will say when I did hear what's it? Gusty Galaxy, Garden Galaxy.
Yeah, Gusty Garden Galaxy.
That's the one. When I heard that in that trailer, you know when you watch a trailer for a movie, or you're watching a movie and the music swells and you sort of get the chill, the music really just brings it up. That happened in the direct when that music played, because Brian Tyler, who's back from the first movie to do all the Mario music for this one, he did such a fantastic job with the original movie score. Hearing him sort of take a stab at this, I'm like, yes, this is what I want.
Well, it's funny because someone, I can't remember the context around it. Someone got, I think, the soundtrack of the game, the original soundtrack, the actual orchestrated soundtrack for the film. I think it was on Spotify or something. Someone got it and then just literally cut scenes of the film to the music, and they found that the original soundtrack music there was an original soundtrack to the film that was orchestrated specifically to hit the beats of the film, but it was replaced with licensed music later on down the fact. That's crazy.
The Donkey Kong scene is the worst offender of that, where they're going through the Donkey Kong jungle for the first time.
Yeah.
That had a phenomenal arrangement of jungle beat, and then they just got replaced.
I will say,
put some license crap in there.
Universal Media, Universal Press, whatever you want to call them, they gave me the soundtrack. So I went to saw the movie, and then as I was leaving, I got the email saying your assets are available, and I jumped on there, and it was the full soundtrack, including cuts of tracks that never even made it into the movie. Not ones that were made and then cut from the movie, but pieces that were created for characters that didn't show up in the movie.
There's
something 80 tracks in that thing, and I've listened to that multiple times because it's such a fantastic score. So more of that.
Anyway, looking forward to David Bowie's Space Oddity in Galaxy.
Last thing I'll say about this news story is Amiibo prices are too damn high.
Yeah,
the worst in America.
They are so
too damn
worse
high
in America.
yeah, no joke. It's my goodness, it's the price of the game.
$50 US for an Amiibo, Jesus. I mean, they are giant Amiibo at least, so
and they look gorgeous. Don't get me wrong, but my God, if we want to talk about a price hike, geez.
The good news is that there are 12 million Rosalina Amiibo from the original run that you can just pick up for $6 on eBay. So
we didn't even talk about the fact that the Rosalina book is getting a print.
Oh yeah, they're doing. Although, so that's also a weird thing about this release, where the new game has additional pages and narration from Rosalina, right? And then they're printing the book, but it doesn't have the new pages. It's only the original pages, and it's what was the point? Why? You've got all the assets there. Why are you not just putting that in the book?
So in 15 years' time, they can release the new version of it, the remaster, and we can come back and talk about that.
They'll remaster it and add new pages, but then the book will be the Switch version of the
book will also have new camera controls.
Yeah. Anyway, talking about expensive shit that is made of plastic. The Virtual Boy is coming to Nintendo Classics.
I can't believe this is a thing. Sorry, go on.
The Virtual Boy is coming to Nintendo Classics. This was the big thing. You need Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack to play it. You can't just play it with the regular one. You also need to spend either $140 on a plastic shell to slot your Switch into, or a $30 cardboard one, because it's just replicating the VR. You cannot play them, as far as we know, you cannot play them without the.
Well, yeah, the My Nintendo store in Australia and America says that it's required. Doesn't say like plays best with. It says required to play. So that's what we're going off at the moment.
Yeah. So yeah, there are 14 games that are going to be released over time, including Wario Land, Mario Tennis, and 2 versions of Tetris. Only 8 games are not coming over, at least as far as has been announced, and those were all Japan exclusive releases, so we can probably assume that they're not going to, or they will eventually.
But they probably will at some random celebration. Oh, do you remember this game you never heard of from the Virtual Boy that you never played? Well, we're bringing it to the... Yeah, they'll do that because they've done that.
Remember this game system in this game that almost killed people? Here, you can buy it again for $140.
Yeah. So yeah, like... I have questions about this. Like, first of all, can you just use the Labo VR? Right? Because like it's essentially the same
maybe
thing.
for Switch, but not for Switch 2.
Yeah, I mean, better yet, like they say that these things are required, right? When I heard that in the direct, I immediately called shenanigans. I'm like, how are they checking that? Is it gonna have like an Amiibo NFC tag in it or something that's been like you can now unlock this feature?
I think it'll just have like the 2 fucking images, like when you see like VR unfiltered played on like a flat screen. I think that's what it's gonna look like.
Yeah, it's just gonna be two flat images on the screen. Because in that case, there is nothing stopping anyone from just 3D printing their own little headsets.
It's true.
Why the hell wouldn't you at that point?
Yeah, I'm sure there will be like CAD files up immediately.
Yeah, because the dirty little pirate in me was just like, oh, these are required. We'll see when I jump onto like some 3D printing site and people have already like modeled a shell.
The funniest thing about this is Nintendo go, these are required. It's like, cool. Then why were you showing us footage of them playing without the need for them in the direct?
Yeah.
If they're required, you shouldn't have been able to show us footage of them, of the games.
Yeah.
You can't have it both.
My other thing about this is like, I understand that they're kind of like out of consoles and shit that they can put on the servers. Like obviously they can do DS and 3DS and maybe Wii. But like
that's a ton of games in there. Damn.
Yeah, I mean that would be good. But yeah, they're like out of new consoles to add. But like Virtual Boy is such a weird one because like, first of all, nobody has any nostalgia for that shit because.
Well, everyone knows that the one thing that everyone knows or remembers from that was that it made people feel sick.
Yeah.
And now they're like, here's pay us $140 and now you can do it too.
But there's also like an extremely hard limit on how many releases they can do for this, and that's 14.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's like we will get as many games as 3/4 of what the NES app launched with over its life, and then that's it. There's never going to be any more games. They're not going to make new games for it, and like that's it. Like, how is this a value add?
Well, yeah. Look, I've mentioned this a few times, or more than a few times on the podcast. This is the problem that I have with these NSO subscriptions, is that they try to dangle this carrot in front of people to keep them subscribed, to be like, oh, what are we going to release next year? Who knows, kind of thing. But like right from the get go, we got like the NES, SNES. I think that was it, right? Those were the first 2 that we got. And, they had like 10 games on each or something like that. And they're like, oh, this is great value. We're going to add more games to this over time kind of thing. And it's like, so right from the get-go, like being subscribed to this service, you were already overpaying for it basically. And now, like, sure, the value has gotten up even more over that time. But you're still paying the same price roughly that you were, 6 years ago when the service arrived, but now you've got so many more games to play, right? And it's just going to keep kind of getting like that. And so in my head, I'm just like, so at what point I just think it's so weird that like right now we're paying however much we're paying now, $20, $30 or something like that for a single pass, $60 for a family one, whatever. And then in 2 years time, it'll be, have even more value because there'll be even more games for it, right? They'll probably throw another console in there or something like that. Or no, what will happen is we'll finally get these 14 games that they've said. So right now we don't even know which games are going to arrive on the platform first up, do we? Or how many of them? They just say 14 games will be released over time. So it's like, okay, so what does that mean then? Do we get 2 or 3 of these and then we have to wait a year to get another 4 or 5 over that time? And then, there's just no transparency. There's no sort of solid roadmap that's actually delivered to people to know, okay, if I spend money now, when do I get the things that I actually want? We still don't even have all of the GameCube games that were announced, right? We don't know when those are going to drop. It's just they gussy up value as I don't even know I know what I'm trying to say, but it's hard for me to sort of say it. They put up this facade of value as oh, look at all these games, but who knows when they're going to come out? We know, but we're not going to tell you guys.
They're the snake oil salesman. The snake oil salesman would, in the old times, he'd stand on the side of the road. If you drink this elixir, your hair will be vital. You'll have all these, all these promises. If you spend one low price now, rah. And then,
well, the problem is that they're not lying, though, right? They're not saying that, you will get these games and then you don't get them. It's you will get them. You just don't know when.
They're saying, trust us. Give us your money now and trust us. In time, you'll have all these games. And that's my issue with the Virtual Boy is simply if you buy the plastic shell, even if you cancel your Switch Online 6 months after you get the Virtual Boy games, right, and that goes away, that's fine. That's still a nice thing you can display on your shelf, right, alongside your other consoles. My big issue is the fact that it's basically you're paying $10 per game on top of your existing subscription to play these games. And let's face it, these games aren't exactly 60-hour masterpieces. They're short Game Boy type games. It's not, I don't know. I just think, look, I'm happy they're offering the cardboard option for people who don't either don't want to buy the Virtual Boy the plastic one or can't afford to. But I think $140 US, $140 here in Australia, that's just too high a price for what is essentially a plastic shell. If there was electronic components in it, then maybe I could understand the cost. But no, the fact that I got the Game & Watch, the Zelda Game & Watch, the Mario Game & Watches for less money, and that has tech in it, has screens and processors and sound, that is fine. This doesn't make sense to me. This is the second thing in this direct where they're overcharging for something, in my opinion.
This it's a joke. It's a literal joke. That's the thing. When this came out, people were just dunking on it immediately, and you do not want that as Nintendo. You do not want people dunking on your new product. To an extent, I think they knew that it was gonna be laughed at, but the $140 price tag in Australia was just such a slap in the face. And what is the point of this thing? You're not even gonna again, you're gonna play 1 or 2 games that will actually come out with this service, and the novelty will wear off soon, and then this thing will just be sitting on your shelf. I expect this thing to just be sitting on Luke's shelf behind him for the next 5 years of this podcast or whatever, right? He probably won't even touch it after that. Because
I will say, I bought the Mega Drive controller when they brought that out, still in the box. I bought 2 Super Nintendo controllers because they came in pairs. I only ever opened one. I have a second 64 controller that's still in the box that they shipped it to me in, the actual brown box, because I was I already have one open. I don't need it, but I will say though, the thing that I did chuckle about, I remember in our predictions at the start of the year, I said GameCube would come in September. I was obviously wrong. GameCube came earlier than that, and Ollie predicted that they would add a new NSO platform, and he said DS or 3DS. And as he started saying that, I just whispered, and it's in the video. I whispered, and I went, Virtual Boy, as a joke. I really wish I had these powers of suggestion where I could say, and it would work too, but apparently not.
Anyway, sorry, Luke and I have just been talking, Ollie.
No, I mean, I don't really want to, I have zero nostalgia for these games. From what I can see, there's a couple decent ones, and the rest are whatever. And I'm not going to spend $140 for something that will 100% make me sick. This is a non-existent. I'll be excited when they eventually add DS, and they 100% will. But this is nothing to me. It is It's like, you know how you watch a direct and like a farming game comes on and you're like, oh, I don't have to pay attention anymore. That's exactly what this was for me.
So I've always said in all the E3 press conferences when EA were doing theirs, they'd always open up with like, Battlefield and something, and then they'd go to their EA Sports section where they're like, we've reinvented how you kick a ball in soccer, and then they'd move on to another game. Anytime there's a section like that in a direct or a showcase where there's like a whole section of games that are farming or Virtual Boy, I'm like, that's the EA Sports section. That's the time when I can get up and go get a drink, stretch my legs. I don't have to pay attention because I don't give a shit. Like if Nintendo send me one of these things, I'd be happy. But at the same time, I also don't care enough to spend $140 on it myself.
Yeah, see, I was the opposite to you guys. Like, I love watching a good train wreck, and so I was watching this. I'm like, oh no, what is this? All right, let's open up Blue Sky and see what's going to happen. Everyone's responding the exact way I expected. Yeah,
the funniest part was after they did the thing, they went back to Koizumi, who's like leaned down and he pops his head up like Kilroy. He's like, "So, what'd you think?" And then goes back down. It's like, okay. Not even the charming Koizumi little outtakes, little skits can save that announcement. Sorry.
Because like Nintendo knows that this is like kind of junk, right? Like Nintendo knows that they're not, blind to that fact.
Absolutely.
Like it's just like, yeah, it's dumb. It's a dumb thing that exists, and some people will spend money for it, but not many. And it's just like a part of the subscription now, I guess.
The thing
it
is,
would be lovely if down the line they.
No,
I was gonna say it would be lovely if down the line they just like did the extremely obvious thing and made it possible to just play it on your TV.
That's what they will do, 100%. 12 months, 18 months after they launch it, they'll be like, oh, we've released an update, so the actual hardware is no longer required. And everyone who's bought that $140 headset will just shout, you Nintendo, at the top of their lungs, because they now have something they don't need anymore on their shelf.
Well, I think this will just be discontinued in about a year or so because no one will buy them, and then suddenly you'll see them all on eBay for like $1,000 because everyone will suddenly think they're worth a lot because Nintendo's not making them anymore, despite the fact that no one bought the damn things.
If it actually played actual Virtual Boy games at the same time from the cards, then maybe, but no. Otherwise, no.
If you want to play some Virtual Boy games, there's a great way that you can hack your 3DS and just install Virtual Boy games onto that if you still have 3DS, and you can play them in full 3D on that thing. It's completely homebrewed. It's not anything official by Nintendo, but it is possible to do. So do that instead.
I did see a very funny post from somebody that was like, what if you put on the headset and the borders in NSO are still there?
Michael would shoot someone. Oh my god!
I will admit, none of the footage they've shown and none of the screens they've released show those borders, and they always show those borders in every footage for every game, unless they go.
Yeah, we'll see, man.
It supports. No, but like with GoldenEye, they had it normal, and they go, and it supports widescreen. I know it's widescreen, and the borders went away. So when the borders are there, they show them. So I will give them 1% of a possibility that these won't have the borders, but we'll see.
The best thing is that the borders won't be in 3D, so it'll completely break the 3D effect of the games as well. That was the worst thing in the 3DS game. You'd like open up the home menu or press start or something like that, and it wouldn't be in the same 3D perspective, and it'd just break your eyes.
Yeah,
that was the worst.
Anyway, moving on. There's a new Yoshi game. I'm super excited for this because it looks delightful. Yeah. So it's called Yoshi and the Mysterious Book. You are, it's another Yoshi game with a unique art style. This one is kind of a little bit painterly and also kind of picture booky. It's quite nice.
It looks almost exactly like Yoshi's Story. No, Yoshi's Island. Sorry, the original Yoshi's Island.
Yeah. It's like a modernized version of that, which is super, super nice. So you have to help a guy named Mr. E, who is an encyclopedia. That's why it's called Mr. E, but it's also because it's mystery, And he crashes near Yoshi's home, and his pages are filled with information about unusual creatures, and then you have to go into the book and interact with these creatures and platform around and all this shit. It looks delightful. The character design is like top notch. You see like all these like goofy monsters and shit throughout the trailer, and they just look delightful. I'm super, super keen for this because it looks like a big step up from Yoshi's Crafted World, which I was not a big fan of, and more akin to Woolly World, which is the best Yoshi game to date. So Yeah, Angelo,
I'm stoked to see
thoughts.
the Yoshi game just continuing this trend of bucking, the same visual style. Like every Yoshi game we've had for the past 10, 15 years now has all had their own unique style. Crafted World and Woolly World are very similar. Yes, I get that, but they're still quite different. I'm just really happy to see that Nintendo's still trying different visual styles on their games. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Yoshi and Kirby have always geared towards kids to fill different sort of needs or wants. Like Kirby was always like the really entry level type thing, right? They're always seen as like the easier games, even though some of them do get a little complicated at times. But Yoshi was always just seen as like just the really, really like cutesy, fun, lovable kids platforming series. But yeah, it was funny. We were watching this, and I was watching this with my partner, and she was just like, "Why don't they just call it Yoshi's Story Book?" And I was like, my God, that would have been brilliant if they just called it that and it was like a sequel to Yoshi's Story. Like, why do they call it Yoshi and the Mysterious Book? Just seems like a bit of a mouthful when they could have just called it Yoshi's Storybook. But, I'm absolutely keen for this. I love the little, like, dandelion freaks that just pop up and they seem to be kind of parasitic as well. They just, like, erode rocks and things. They just eat away at enemies and stuff. I'm like, that's kind of grim, but cute at the same time. I'm totally into this. And you also do some fishing.
That's the thing, is that we saw like quite a variety of gameplay in the trailer as well. I thought it was a really interesting looking game. So that's coming out in autumn next year, and is only for the Switch 2, I believe, right? Not coming to Switch 1 as well.
Only for Switch 2.
So yeah.
It is. I hope Yoshi turns into a helicopter again.
I mean,
Let's do it.
He might. You never know.
And we don't know if this is made by Good Feel, do we?
No, they've not said anything on who the studio producing this one is.
It's no surprise.
It feels pretty obvious that it's going to be Good Feel again, because I mean,
I will say the only reason I would argue that it may not be Good Feel is because they did at the end of 2023 they did ship their Bakugan, the Mystical Ninja Spirit. That's the one, that the spiritual successor for that. So it's entirely possible that but then again, who knows how? Like, they were sitting on that one for years, so who knows how many things. I would agree that it's likely
Showtime.
Oh, that's the other one. That's the other game that they did in between. So I will 100% agree that it's probably likely them. But as we know with Nintendo, we won't actually find out until the credits roll. So
yeah. Sorry, I'm just looking to see if Good Feel retweeted it, the announcement, because that would make it very obvious. Let's see.
Yeah, this game just looks beautiful. I absolutely can't wait for it. I love a good, bold, artistically crafted game, particularly side scrollers. I think you can just do so much still with side scrollers to do with art and creativity. I'm always keen for something like this.
Yeah, which is again why Mario Wonder really caught everyone's attention, because it was like it's the Mario but it looked so different that you were like, hang on, is this completely different?
But he's also just like explicitly going on acid trips as well, which I'm also for. So
yeah. Talking about something that does not have a unique art style, Mario Tennis Fever. It's a new Mario Tennis game. It looks like all the prior Mario Tennis games.
Wow, hang on. Mario Tennis on the Virtual Boy, it looks nothing like this one.
So Mario Tennis Fever, it has Baby Wario and Baby Waluigi, which is a first, I think, for both of those.
I mean, Baby Wario maybe at some point, but Baby Waluigi 100%. Yeah. This is the first time we've ever seen that variant.
Yeah. So this is a lot like Tennis Aces, which was a good game. It was fine. But in this one, in addition to like all of the kind of stuff that was in Tennis Aces, there's also fever rackets. So each fever racket, you like build up gauge, and then you can do a fever attack. And that does like a unique ability. So like, there's a fever racket where it will create ice, and then your opponent like slips all over it. Or like fireballs where they, get set on fire, and or like there's one that makes your opponent like really, really tiny, as I showed with Bowser, and that makes it like really difficult for them to hit the ball and like move around and stuff. So
it's just kind of like the various cheats you had in GoldenEye back in the day.
Basically. So there are 38 playable characters in the game, which is the most that has ever been in a Mario Tennis game. You can do standard controllers, the normal control scheme. You can do motion, which is quite fun. It does seem like you could feasibly just set up a Wii Sports situation where you just play tennis, which is nice. But it also has like a full adventure mode, which is like a proper story mode that seems to be more in depth than the adventure mode that was in Mario Tennis Aces, which was just like a series of back-to-back regular tennis matches. This one actually has like challenges.
Like a more expanded version of what they did in the golf game, the Mario Golf from the Switch.
Yeah. So there's like little challenges and mini games and all of that stuff, and you are a baby for some reason, and you have to figure out how to not be a baby anymore. Yeah, I mean
the real challenge we're all facing these days.
Yeah, so I think it looks quite nice. I'll probably buy it eventually. I'm not rushing out to buy it because it's a Mario Tennis game, and like it's fine. It'll be fine. But that's coming out in February, right?
February 17.
Yeah.
There we go.
12th, isn't it? That's what it says in the article.
Yeah, February
12th. Sorry, Virtual Boy is the 17th. Sorry.
Yeah. This comes out the day before my birthday. Maybe I'll get it. Maybe I'll have a birthday Mario Tennis party. That might be fun. Thoughts? Anyone?
I've never owned a Mario Tennis game. I think I played. Was there one on 64? I think I played the one on 64. Yeah. And that was fun. It was one of those blockbuster rentals we did one weekend and had a good time with it. But yeah, no, this one I'm watching it, I'm like, I actually kind of am into this. And as soon as it said that there's an adventure mode, I'm like, oh, I actually like adventure modes in a lot of these like kind of, bespoke sports games. I've always thought fondly of the adventure mode in Smash Melee. I've always thought that was the gold standard for like an adventure mode added to a game like this. And then when they showed this adventure mode, I'm like, oh, there's actually kind of something that is akin to that in some respects. Like it has its own kind of little fun levels alongside like playing games of tennis and things. So I'm kind of into that. But yeah, I'm actually quite curious about this game. It's the first Mario Tennis game where I'm like, this is actually doing something interesting and something fun, even with the fever rackets and stuff. Those kind of multiplayer modifiers. So, and it does look a lot like what Wii Sports did as well, just right down to like the grass textures and everything like that. So yeah, as soon as they said that there were motion controls, I'm like, oh yeah, this totally captures vibes of Wii Sports Tennis. So I think there's a lot going on with this game, which is interesting to me.
Yeah, I think Tennis Aces was like really interesting in that like a lot of people described it as being a fighting game in the guise of a tennis game, where like it's all about the like reading your opponent and seeing what they're doing, and then like executing counters and launching counterattacks and stuff like that. And it's kind of very similar. This looks to be similar, but like you get super moves in addition to the regular tennis gameplay. So yeah, I think it's a really interesting direction to go for like a sports game rather than just being like either super arcadey or super serious. It's like kind of somewhere in between, and like you're just taking little bits and pieces from other genres to make it more interesting. But yeah,
I will say I'm not going to get it if I can't turn off that goddamn talking flower as a commentator.
I was gonna say that everyone's favorite flower that they love to hate is back.
Man, I love that guy. It's genuinely one of my favorite characters
He's
in the
fine.
Mario universe
He's
now.
fine.
Is the talking flower.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be so much better if you had like a wise talking Brooklyn kind of thing going on, like, hey, what you doing? I'm walking here.
You call that a lap shot?
Yeah. So moving on to the next game, and this is one that is going to probably sell just shit tons and shit tons of copies. It's a new game called Pokemon Pocopia. No, I think it's going to be big. So this is a sort of cozy life simulator set in the Pokemon universe. It's being made by Koei Tecmo, who also made Dragon Quest Builders 2, which this looks a lot like, both visually and in terms of mechanics and stuff. You are a Ditto who turns into a young boy or girl, and then do some body horror where your arms turn into vines or your face turns into a Squirtle or whatever. All sorts of things where you can use your Ditto powers to transform into certain aspects of Pokemon that you meet to transform the world. So you can, terraform like you can in Dragon Quest Builders or something like Minecraft. You can also like do some farming and meet other Pokemon and chat with them and add them to your village and decorate and stuff. So it's like, a little bit of Minecraft, a little bit of Animal Crossing, a little bit of Pokemon. And I think because of that, it is a Venn diagram of money printing. I think it's going to do very well. But yeah.
You can tell that Nintendo just like 5 years ago discovered Minecraft and was like, oh man, voxel-based like environmental manipulation. We've got to get in on that because it's so big right now. And then in 2025, they release a new Donkey Kong that's all about destruction with, voxel-based environmental destruction. And then they bring out this game, which is just basically Pokemon Minecraft.
Yeah.
I will say...
And I think... Yeah, go on.
I was going to say, so when this first popped up in the trailer, like the opening stuff was like, what the hell is this with the Ditto, with the Pokedex? And the moment I went outside, my brain went, that's Dragon Quest Builders. So I played through Dragon Quest Builders 1 and 2 multiple times. I love those games. They're fantastic. To the point where even people at Nintendo saw my review for Builders 2 and they told me that it convinced them to give it a try and they loved it. So if this is that same team just doing something but with Pokemon instead of Dragon Quest, I'm all on board. I don't know about the weird Ditto thing. That just seems unnecessary to me. But I get it because you can then talk to the Pokemon. I get it from that point of view, but yeah.
It's interesting, like that first shot where it's like a Ditto just in a cave with some crap behind it, and then a sandy, old, scratched up Pokedex, like the original looking Pokedex. I'm like, oh, is this like Ditto abandoned or something? Is that kind of the story that we're going with here?
I think that's the implication, that like the Ditto was abandoned or like its trainer died or something.
Yeah, something bad happened.
Yeah. And then, you just become friends with a bunch of Pokemon and build a little happy Animal Crossing world. Which
the name is interesting, Pokopia.
The name is stupid.
You'd expect it to be like Poketopia. So I'm kind of confused by that. I think there's going to be some mispronunciations from people with this game.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
But it looks fine. It's that's the thing. It looks like fun. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to yuck people's yums. So I think it'll be fine. I question whether or not it's going to be like this huge hit. There have been a lot of Pokemon games that come out the last 5 years that were supposed to be huge hits, and they're like sparked at the beginning and then fizzled out. So
yeah,
I think
we'll see.
The thing that this has over the other ones, right, is that like this is not only a life sim game, which is like a thriving genre right now, but it also has multiplayer. This is something that was not in the direct, but was confirmed on the Japanese website, where it does have up to 4-player online multiplayer, kind of like Animal Crossing. Now they can't. I mean, I guess
and
Nintendo
exactly like Dragon Quest
recreate the
Builders too.
situation. Yeah. I was going to say, like, I guess Nintendo could recreate the situations that led to Animal Crossing being so successful on the Switch, but that's probably not something they want to do, given that there's a lot of
pandemic. Exactly. Nintendo have their fingers in a lot of pies. Let's not be honest. Let's not try to.
But I think it's not going to be like a 40 million seller like Animal Crossing was, but I think it will do quite well in terms of like, because Pokemon spin-offs don't actually sell that well in the grand scheme of things, right? Like,
no.
The most successful Pokemon spin-off games are like the mystery dungeon games, and even then, like, they sort of cap out at like 5 million at the very top end. Like, they don't sell a lot compared to the main series, at least. So this will be really interesting to see how this does. But I also appreciate this is something I was talking about with my partner recently, is that like we are seeing the Pokemon companies sort of branch out and like give a little bit more freedom with the franchise compared to what we've seen in the past, where it's been like very tightly controlled, the same art style across all media. Like, we're seeing stuff like Pokemon Concierge, where it's a little bit different, and stop motion animation, which is delightful as well. We're seeing this where they're doing something entirely new with the franchise, and even Pokemon Legends ZA, which has a real-time battle system. Like, the Pokemon company is like really branching out with what they will do with Pokemon, and I think that's a really good thing to see, because the franchise has been sort of
stagnant.
I don't know, stagnant.
Well, I'm curious to see what the longevity of this game is, because, like I said, like spin-off games tend to like fizzle. Sorry, they tend to spark at the beginning and then really kind of fizzle out over, quite a short period of time. A, because there's a new Pokemon game on the horizon and everyone flocks to, or just there just isn't, strong enough legs to kind of carry it further than what that initial kind of gimmick is. And at the moment, I'm looking at this, I'm like, it's a cool idea, but I just kind of see it as a bit of a gimmick until they start talking about, okay, so what are they going to do to keep people hooked? Like, is there going to be new content? Are there going to be like real-time seasons? Are there going to be like, actual holiday events and things like that? Like Christmas or whatever. So yeah, it looks cute. I'm kind of interested in kind of, it is something different for the series, but I don't know.
At the point where you want to know more before you make a decision.
Well, the thing is like Ollie mentioned that, like, it's kind of like a farming sim type thing and it's multiplayer, and I'm like, yeah, but like every farming sim these days comes out with both of those things, and they've all got their own interesting little hooks in them, whether one is about witches or one is about specifically animals or something like that, right? There's always something with it, and I just see this one as another one of those, but with Pokemon now. Granted, it's like one of the most valuable IP in the world, so it's going to do a little bit better than those, but I just want to see what they'll be doing to sort of keep it going a bit further, and if it's going to be more than just that surface level thing of like, oh, it's kind of like a Minecraft thing, but with Pokemon now. I want to see how much deeper this game kind of goes to make things more interesting, and if there are actual relationships and interesting characters and even stories that you get to experience. So,
I think
we'll
it
see.
also
optimistic.
does use like a real-time clock and calendar, so it's likely there's going to be events, but it is like Animal Crossing where it is a real-time clock. You can't just like speed through it. Which is
but the thing about Animal Crossing is that it somewhat reflects the real world, or at least it has its own world that reflects our world, right? It's like, oh, today's this thing, and oh, there's the bug catching contest, and it's going to last this week or something like that, or this character shows up on this specific day of the week and you can only do these things, right? There's all these things that kind of like keep you going and look forward to the next event coming up, because you always know that there's another event coming up. So that's what I'm kind of curious about with this. And even Animal Crossing has like, 100 different characters that you can bring to your island. Like, is that going to be something similar to this? Where,
see, that's the thing about Pokemon, is that there's 1,100 Pokemon that they could.
Sure, but I couldn't name you like 90% of them at this point anymore, because there's too many.
What I love about Builders 2 is the way it works is you have all these islands you go to, and there's like main objectives to complete on that island. But then you have like a big central area where you can build replicas of that area, build your own version of it, and all that sort of stuff. And then one of the big things is that people in from like the first island will be really good at farming, but the second island they'll be really good at mining, like metalwork and stuff. So you can actually trade people from like that region, from region to region. So you can have people who are really good at farming helping people who are good at metalworking and such like that. And then you actually can go out to these randomly generated islands to get materials and such. So there's a whole lot of like around that. If they bring that sort of mechanic into here, I think it could do really, really well, just because imagine being able to take a Gen 1 Pokemon to a Gen 5 Pokemon area and have them do stuff that, maybe Gen 5 Pokemon can't do. Like, that alone could be cool. My biggest issue is I just need to know that it's more than just building a little paradise for things. If it's Viva Pinata, but for Pokemon, it's not what I want. But I mean, they've said the pre-orders are open on November 12, which is one of those weird things Nintendo does occasionally. They'll put a date on when pre-orders are available, and it's always way out from where we are. Maybe by then they'll have some hands-on or some early previews or something. We'll learn more about it. But
I'm also curious about the story of this game, because it's a Ditto kind of managing its own little sort of daycare type thing with other Pokemon coming in, and we all know what my Ditto got up to at the daycares, boys. let's find out what this game's going to be all about, if you know what I mean.
It's part farming game, and in farming games, relationships and babies are a big thing.
Oh yeah, it's going to be my own little Ditto harem.
Importantly, Luke, is this the first Pokemon game in a while that you might actually play?
Yeah, because it's not a, the 17th version of the same thing I played 20 years ago. That's the thing with Pokemon games, because as you mentioned, Ollie, there's so many different types. Like, in terms of just sub-series alone, there's Mystery Dungeon, Ranger, Cafe, there's that Unite, that mobile one, which boo, but people like that. There's all these different genres, and for me, it's all great, but a lot of it's still just the same thing. It's like it's the same basic premise. This is something that, even though it's using the Pokemon license, is a completely different gameplay premise, and that's what excites me more than anything. So,
I want a new silly small Pokemon game, kind of like the Magikarp Jump game that was on phones. That was such a delight. It was such a silly little idea.
That was such a good game. Like, just like raising just like these like shit ass Pokemon.
Yeah, just the worst Pokemon in existence, but you're giving him purpose, and he's just trying to get the highest jump he's. Yeah, I want something like that. Give me silly little Pokemon adventures, little snapshots.
Alrighty. The big event of, kind of. It's hard to argue. But yeah, the big event of the Direct is that we finally saw more of Metroid Prime 4. And we have a release date for it, which is December 4. That's nice.
Which I'm pretty sure I said in one of our things, like it would be like December 6th or something, like first week of December. Because I was confident it was going to be then, so yay me.
So the big hook that they've announced in this trailer is that Samus has a motorbike now. She just fucking gets on a motorbike with this brand new suit, and just
again,
rides around.
Nintendo discovered motorcycles. Like, let's give one to Link. Pokemon turned into motorbike. Samus has one now.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it seems like, we don't know for sure because details on this are still light. But it seems like there's going to be like this sort of central hub world that you can travel around as Samus on the motorbike and shit. And then that will go to like the specific locations and shit. That sort of like a wheel and spoke situation. But yeah, it looks great. And yeah, it's actually coming out this year. Which, I'll believe it when I see it. But yeah, I think it looks fine. I'm not more excited for this than I was previously. I'm the same level of excited. But I do think that the imagery of Samus on a motorcycle is sick as fuck. So, go off Queen.
I'm keen for it for two reasons. One, because I love Metroid and I'm happy to have more Metroid. And two, because it looks like they're trying something more than just having you explore in first person. Which is the thing that was always concerning when they said we're going to do a fourth Metroid Prime, and it's like, yeah, but you already ended that story. What are you going to do? So for this one alone, just having something beyond, taking elevators between areas.
Yeah, just like the title.
No, I was about to say, as soon as you said that came up on my screen.
I think that'll be cool. The only thing that concerns me is that the open world or the Viking sections, either they're going to be very linear, so it's just like a point to point, you don't really have anything else to do in there, which would be, boo. But even if they're somewhat open, I suspect because it's also coming to Switch, there's not going to be a whole lot of anything in those areas. And then can I just skip them eventually?
I'm fully expecting it's going to be like a Ocarina of Time Hyrule Field situation. Which is fine.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine for the first few times you have to cross the field, but after like the 70th time, you just start warping everywhere because there's nothing else to do, and that's what concerns me. Is they're going to make this bike a big part of the game, and then 20 hours in, you're going to be like, well, I've got nothing else to do with the bike now because I've done everything out in the field, out in the whatever. I want to see more of that. This was a great little tease, but I need to see more of it before I'm like convinced it's going to be worth caring about. Also, that amiibo is absolutely huge.
It is a massive amiibo.
Yeah, I don't know, boys. Like something I didn't have on my bingo card for this year was that every time that there was finally more Metroid news, that I would get less excited about it. And I'm genuinely like, I don't know how to feel about it. I'm just genuinely confused about what this game is supposed to be, because the first reveal, I'm like, oh, this game's gonna look amazing. Like we're finally gonna get like a modern looking Metroid game, even though they haven't necessarily looked bad. But I'm looking at this game as it is now, according to these trailers. I'm like, this just looks like what we already had in the GameCube. Like detail wise, it just doesn't look much different at all. And even the environments don't look particularly big, except for like this huge sand dune area that they've trying to justify using this motorcycle for, I guess, which I hope there's going to be more of a use for that thing. But then as soon as she came out on a motorcycle, I'm like, that I never really cared about. Like, I've never thought, oh, Samus needs to traverse things faster and sleeker, right? Like, I would have thought that we'd be flying her spaceship and doing some space battles sooner than getting her on a motorcycle trying to cross a desert.
I mean, to be fair, the whole point of this game is that she's transported to this planet, so she doesn't have access to her ship. And there's an alien, a frenemy, something. They've not been clear on that.
It's one of the hunters from Hunters.
No,
from 3, sorry.
Not Psylux. So there's like an alien species that lived on this planet, and this is how she gets her psychic abilities.
They're just going to be like directly linked to the Chozo or something, and this is actually
there'll be something weird about it. So I suspect that there'll be something about that ties it all together. But I think they're going to try and make the bike a bit like her ship, where it's a bit of a save point. Energy restorer thing if you mount it or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not sure what this game is, and everything that I'm seeing about it isn't making me excited, and that's what's kind of got me concerned.
Yeah, I mean, I think GVG, Good Vibes Gaming, did a video recently about how Metroid Prime 4 has a trailer problem, where like none of the trailers really do anything to sell the game.
Yeah,
like here's things that are in it. And like that's
like the first one, they're like, "Oh look, now you can like open doors slower by solving a puzzle."
Yeah.
Like, why do I want to do that?
Yeah, the whole
that's not fun.
Every Metroid game is you shoot the door opens.
Well, it was kind of cool in Corruption because like you throw your sling and then you yoink it, and I'm like, yeah, all right, that's badass. But now it's like, oh no, now you gotta like slowly do it like a clockwise turn with your hand. I'm just like, what? What are we doing?
But no, they're showing off like we don't really know anything about the story, which is like. The Prime series are more story focused and exploration focused, right? Like we don't really get a good sense of like the vibes of the environments or like what kind of environments we're going to, or like it's
they're all about mystery and uncovering that mystery. Whereas here they've got her riding a motorcycle and there's like a slick 80s guitar solo happening behind. I'm like, that's not Metroid. What the hell's going on?
I will say so. Yeah. In the build that I played months ago, there was story to it, and it's more just about how she ends up on the planet. And that's fine, but that's like, when you read the back of a box and it goes, Samus finds herself on this mysterious planet. She, that's that setup. It's like, that's cool, but that's not what we want.
That's every Metroid game.
Yeah. But my point is that with all the trailers they've shown, I think we've seen, even that prologue area, I think from trailers alone, we've only seen maybe 8 minutes of footage because they keep not showing anything. And it's sort of going against them. And I get not wanting to put in that snarky American narrator voice on the directs as they use. Because Samus now has psychic abilities. That didn't land with anybody. So I imagine at some point they've realized, hey, maybe let's not talk over these things. But at the same time, they've gone the other way, and instead of like showing something cool because they thought they had something cool that first time, they're now just showing things and expecting everyone to be excited for it. That's not working the way I think they think it should be working. So.
Yeah, it's like nothing they've shown like appeals to existing Metroid Prime fans beyond the fact that it's a Metroid Prime game, and like nothing they've shown is like really going to bring anybody new into it as well, because it's like, well, what is this game? Because it doesn't explain shit about it. It's just a series of disparate clips from a game that is like kind of unknowable at this point. And I'm hoping that they do like a direct to actually.
I was just going to say what this game is. If Kirby Air Riders gets 2 goddamn directs and Metroid Prime 4 Beyond gets nothing. Somebody at Nintendo needs to have their head together, because out of the 2 games, the one that needs a direct is Metroid Prime. I'm sorry, Sakurai-san. I'm sure Kirby Air Riders is a delightfully auto-playing racing game, but if that's one game that didn't need a deep dive into anything, it was that game. I want to point out this too. I did laugh at this. The amiibo. So we get 2 amiibo on the 6th of November. For whatever reason, we get them a month ahead of the game. And then one's the Samus, then one's Samus on her bike. And then on the launch day, we get the Psylux amiibo. And every time I see it, I can't help but picture that he's doing that Darth Vader no.
Yeah, so it looks like.
Yeah, so no. And every time I see it, it just makes me think this character's not actually going to be the big bad guy. You know how in Japanese anime and manga, there's always that character they're the nemesis, but they're just that annoying character that runs in, says something, then runs off scared. He's gonna be
he'll probably be like the pawn character in the sense that like he's like the one being controlled by some higher power, some evil power or something. Like he's like the conduit for being a mischief.
Or he's just a complete fake out. Nintendo wants us to believe he's the big bad, and he's in there.
Kind of like
20 minutes.
Like Girahim in Skyward Sword.
Exactly.
I do think it would be sick if like Nintendo, pulled a fake out and like halfway through the game you switch to playing as Silex, because that would be fun. Different ability set.
Oh no! I just read part of the article and discovered what the name of the motorcycle is. It's the Viola.
Yep.
Yeah.
The red suit that she wears is the Viola suit, because she has the Varia suit, now she has the Viola suit.
What is the significance of the name? Like, is it supposed to?
We'll have to find out, won't we?
Is it supposed to be a play on the actual musical instrument, the viola? What relevance does that have?
I guess we'll have to wait and find out.
Oh, what are they doing?
Nintendo.
Like, look, I'll say this. Metroid Other M gets stomped on so much for being like the worst ever Metroid game to exist, right? Even though I quite like Metroid Other M. I think it's a fine game. I think gameplay-wise, it is doing so many more interesting things than a lot of other Metroid games have done. The thing that really annoyed me about that game was just the dialogue. The dialogue was just insane, absolutely off the walls and made no sense. Yeah, exactly. And like, oh, remember me? Oh, all that kind of thing. But like, it at least took a bold step in a direction and went right into that. Like, it was very much like a new studio has control over this, quite important IP for Nintendo. And they just went and really did their own thing with it. And even when something is a completely huge misstep, I can at least respect it. They're trying to make something work that's completely different. And that's what I mean. Is like, I still quite enjoy it because I like the third person switching over to, the third person switching over to first person as soon as you pull out the Wii remote and try to aim around. I thought that was really cool and really slick. But the thing that really bothered me, was just sort of the narrative and the dialogue and stuff. But I look at this game and I'm like, what is the interesting hook here? What is happening in this game that's supposed to really bring someone like myself or even many other Metroid fans in, apart from the fact that it is just a Metroid Prime game? And I'm not getting any of that at all. With Corruption, it was the interesting Wii controls. With Prime 2, it was the fact that you sort of like turn into like a different, you go between like the light and the dark world type of thing. And with Prime proper, like it was just a first person perspective. There's just something different. And you're scanning environments and you're kind of learning more about the world and monsters and weaknesses and things like that.
Even Prime Hunters, its big thing was the fact that it was Prime on the go.
Yeah.
Back on the DS.
That's it. And with this one, and then, with Dread, like it was back to side scrolling, but like had kind of like an intense sort of like thriller hook where something was constantly chasing you. Whereas with this, I'm watching this, I'm like, well, what is the hook here? Like, what is the thing that they're trying to be like? This is why you waited 20 years or 80 years for a sequel.
And that's
like,
the
what
thing,
is
right?
happening?
Is it like the first trailer was like it kind of feels like Nintendo is just like showing random things and being like, do people like this? Right? It's like, hey, psychic powers, is that anything? A motorbike, is that a thing that you like? Like, it's not. There's not any kind of strategy to these reveals, right? It's just like throwing shit at the wall and hoping people get excited about it. But like, we need to see more of the game than that. Like, I do think that the underlying game will be good, right? Like, I think.
Yeah, sure.
But I think it's
that's the thing. It could be like the best game this year for all we know. Right now I'm just like, what is this game?
This is the Prime 4 has the same problem that Tears of the Kingdom had. Everyone was like, okay, Tears of the Kingdom, a sequel to Breath of the Wild, that'll be fine. But nobody really was like connected to it until that Direct came out where they're like, and you can basically build anything you want if you combine, and once we started seeing all those options about making rafts and bikes and weird flying dragons and giant robots with massive dongs and all that shit that people were making. Once that Direct happened, people were like, oh, okay, now I get why I need to be, we haven't had.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just so confused. I don't know what I was I know what I was expecting. I was expecting just another story, a fourth part to the Metroid Prime series with, an interesting bad guy and all that kind of stuff. But like with this, like if they wanted to make Silex the fake out or the big bad of the game or whatever, like that's fine. But like in that case, just show more of that. Show more of the the dissonance between Samus and Sylex. As hunters, right? They're supposed to be two different types of bounty hunters in the galaxy, and we've met a whole bunch of the other ones in Corruption and in Prime Hunters themselves.
Yeah, I mean, like
so
what we know of Sylex from, from Hunters and additional stuff is that like they just hate the Federation. It's like, why do they hate the Federation?
Yeah, exactly.
What happened there? Tell us anything about Sylex if you want us to be interested in Sylex.
Yeah, for sure. Just give us something to be like, oh, okay, now I understand what this game is. Now I understand why it exists for starters. All right, now start feeding me a little bit more about that. Now you can show me the cool motorcycle and things.
Yeah.
But right now they're just like, hey man, motorcycle. Now you can twist your wrist and open the door, and just like, all right, cool.
Yeah. All right.
Anyway, yeah, I lied. I am yuck and yums. Screw this game. Burn everything down.
Alrighty. The next one is kind of interesting and I think a little bit of a plus and a little bit of a fumble for Capcom. So Resident Evil Requiem, which is the next game in the series, Resident Evil 9, is coming to Switch 2 on the same day as other platforms, so it's on February 27. We've seen footage of it running on Switch 2, and it looks quite nice. I think Capcom is quite good at making good use of DLSS, and that's almost certainly what we're seeing here. But it looks very, very nice for what we were expecting, right? Like if somebody told me like, oh, that super high quality game that is on the PS5 and they've only showed it on the PS5 is coming to Switch 2, I would expect it to look kind of like shit, but it doesn't look too bad. The hair is a bit dodgy, but
yeah, so
I think that
Capcom released this trailer for Switch 2 and then the same version from PC, and you can actually watch them side by side. They're the same shots, same everything. And I actually watched them side by side, and apart from the hair, which we all know Capcom sucks with hair to begin with, that's not one of their strong suits. Everything else about this trailer, you can see some texture quality differences in like reflections and stuff, but it still looks really, really good, especially considering it's on a Nintendo platform, which is traditionally, not the platform for fancy visuals. So
yeah, I think it looked quite nice, and I'm kind of interested in Resident Evil 9. The main character seems really interesting, and like how she slots into the story is a little bit weird, but yeah, also you're going back to Raccoon City, so that's nice. I haven't been there
finally since... It's been like 25 years.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that this character is actually connected to the other games in the series and not just some random guy who happens to find himself in the woods or something. It's like,
yeah. But on the same day, for some reason, Capcom is also releasing Resident Evil 7 and 8, so Biohazard and Village, both of which are their gold editions, so all the DLC is included. We haven't heard about Resident Evil 2, 3, or 4 remake coming to Switch 2, but I imagine those are coming as well eventually. But like, why would you ship them on the same day? Like, there's 3 Resident Evil games coming out on Switch 2 on February 27, one of which is the new game. Surely you just like wait a bit or do it a little bit earlier just so that the new game isn't overshadowed by the other 2 games.
One at the end of December, one at the end of January, one at the end of February. It's a pretty simple thing to release one game a month.
It seems such a weird strategy to do. But yeah, importantly, the RE engine is now on Switch 2. I mean, no surprises there. So basically every other Capcom game is on the table. So that's nice. But yeah, I just don't understand the strategy of releasing RE7 and RE8 on the same day as RE9. Like,
I mean, they did the same thing with the cloud versions, RE2, 3, and 7 cloud, all dropped on the same day. And it's like, I mean, yeah, they were cloud, so let's not go into that. But even without that, it's like, why would you drop 3 pretty big games all on the same day and not space them out, even if they're a week apart? It makes no sense.
My question is, all right, first of all, it's nice to see that like cloud games are getting proper native releases on Switch 2. That's good to see. Second of all,
just because you want Kingdom Hearts, Ollie.
It's happening. It's 100% happening. But no, like, are people who bought the cloud version going to get any kind of discount?
I mean,
see, that's the thing, right? So like, they haven't said anything, but they should, right?
Ollie, let's be honest here. You're assuming people bought the cloud versions of Resident Evil 7 and 8.
I mean, that's true. I'm sure there's like 4 people. Like, just give them the game. Like,
Yeah,
it's not going to hurt you that much.
Capcom should literally say, "Hey, you already bought the game. You have a Switch 2. We're going to give you this new version."
Yeah.
What I think is cool is that for 7 and 8, they are the gold versions. So that means you can play both those games fully in third person because they added that post-release. And all the story DLC and all the extra chapters and all that sort of stuff. Like, them being the gold versions is pretty good. Just like we got with Star Wars Outlaws the other week, that was the gold version, so it all came with all the DLC and everything as well. So I like that, but yeah, I just don't think releasing them on the same day makes sense. Especially because you're either a Resident Evil fan and we're already going to play the new game anyway. So you probably already have them. Probably already had pre-orders planned for the other platforms. And it's like, is the fact that 7, 8, and 9 are all dropping on the same day on Switch 2 like the reason you would now go to Switch 2 for 9? So I don't think so.
But also, why 7 and 8? Like, why would you not put Resident Evil 2, which has a direct storyline to this character?
No, not even
Like,
that. Outbreak. Outbreak is what this game's a spiritual successor to. Like, the main character is the daughter of the character from Outbreak.
Yeah, and Outbreak happens at the same time as Resident Evil 2, right? So,
Yeah.
like, do Resident Evil 2, and then you have the context for what else is happening in the city. Like,
Yeah, it's weird.
I don't understand.
They're just really. I think it's just purely the perspective thing, right? Those last 2 mainline RE games are in a first-person perspective. This one is also in a first-person perspective. So, like, this is the new direction we're taking, Resident Evil games. So here they are, kind of thing. But yeah, you're right. Like, why not? This one is set in Raccoon City. Why not put the other 2 ones that are like, so predominantly focused on Raccoon City there as well?
Yeah,
it's a bit of an odd one. And those 2 would have, like, 7 and 8 have been really popular. They've done really well. But I'd argue that, like, gameplay-wise, like, 2 and 3 are far more interesting. I like 2 and 3 a lot more than I like 7 and 8 personally.
I will say, I do like that with 9, you can swap back and forth between first and third person at any time.
Yeah.
There's no going to a menu, you just press a button and it just swaps the viewpoint. So I like that.
Yeah. I never played Outbreak and I don't know anything about the main character from that game, Alyssa Ashcroft. So I'm curious to see what this game's going to be about and if it'll be enough to make me want to go back and play Outbreak. But it's interesting because, like, I remember Outbreak coming out. I remember being on like a bunch of game magazines at the time, but I don't remember anyone actually really talking about whether or not that game was good. Not like, Code Veronica, which is the one that a lot of people want to be the next remake.
Yeah.
So
wasn't Code Veronica was on Dreamcast first, then it got released elsewhere. But didn't
the PlayStation, I think.
Outbreak was that PS2 first and then others later?
I think so. I think it was PS2.
I think it was just PS2. I don't think it got any other release.
Okay.
It definitely didn't come to GameCube. I remember that much.
No.
In any case, yeah, Angelo, you've been quite a fan of the Resident Evil series, right? So, are you gonna play Resident Evil 9 on the Switch too?
Probably not the Switch 2. I'll probably just get it for PlayStation or Xbox. Most likely PlayStation. Just because, I want nicer hair. But hair's always difficult in games, right? Like, even just CG hair in general is always super difficult. It's super organic. It's super dynamic. Like, it has to react in so many different ways. It's very, very hard to do. But yeah, no, I'm curious. I'm interested. But like I said, I just don't know the backstory of. I don't know the context of this game. And maybe the fact that they're putting out 7 and 8 alongside this one says that this one has more ties to that one, despite the fact that the main character is directly linked to the main character of a completely different Resident Evil game. Maybe context-wise, it has more to do with what's going on in Raccoon City and 7 and 8.
I mean, there's 100% going to be
doing the work.
Yeah. There's 100% going to be like another playable character because every Resident Evil game has 2 playable characters. So like it's gonna happen, whether or not that's an established character like Leon or whatever, right? Like we'll see.
Or it might even just be a flashback to her mother. Like she's supposed to be investigating the disappearance of her mother. It might be like, oh, we're gonna go back in time and go through, see things from her eyes, type of thing.
But yeah, I'm interested to see what it does, and I'm interested to see how it holds up on Switch too. I think it should be fine.
The other interesting thing is that like Resident Evil with 7 and 8 have had more of a focus on, the new sort of evil zombie monster beginnings with the mold rather than the T virus, right? So if she's going back to Raccoon City, like I wonder what that means in that regard, in that case, because
the Umbrella logos in a lot of these trailers, they keep showing it off, especially this last trailer. Like they made a big focus on pointing to the Umbrella logo and like an isolation ward and such. So maybe this is like, maybe this mold stuff is a variant, like it's something from the T virus or the G virus or whatever virus we want to call.
Well, yeah, it's so funny, right? This is such a long running series that like it's still unclear where the origins of everything bad happening came from. Like, you know, they've got these various viruses. We've got the Las Plagas from the fourth game, which is all to do with like this disease that comes from bugs or something like that. And then we've got this mold that's like super ancient and has sort of influenced, you know, the creation of like vampires and werewolves and other like monsters across Europe and things. It's like, so what are we dealing with here? What is the actual central evil in this game?
I mean, there's also like
on?
Revelations, which is an entirely different type of virus too. Like,
I didn't even play that one, so yeah.
I'm
not saying that it needs to do that. Like, it's fine if it wants to keep sort of like moving the goalpost kind of thing, but it would be nice to get some sort of clarity to be like, all right, like, what are we? What's the one thing tying everything together? What's the thing we're focusing all our attention on?
Capitalism.
You know, yeah, capitalism. That's what it is. Money's the plague. Money's what's killing everyone.
That's it.
Yeah. There's a new Fire Emblem game. That's exciting. Everyone loves Fire Emblem. So this is the last thing in the direct. It was the one more thing. It's Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave. So it's coming in 2026. We don't have an exact date for it yet. But it's set around an event known as the Heroic Games, which seem to be like a series of gladiator battles and shit. The game has multiple like sort of main characters whose story is connected to like in Three Houses. There's like a hub area as well that we've seen in the trailer. And at the very end of the trailer, an adult Sothis, which doesn't make sense in Fire Emblem lore, but an adult Sothis shows up at the end of that trailer, which is kind of indicating a link to Three Houses. It's probably a sequel to Three Houses, but yeah. Really interesting. This is almost certainly from the Three Houses team, which makes sense. What have they been doing for the past like 8 years? Yeah. Again, adult Sothis. No, Engage was a completely different team.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is the what is it, like the Koei Tecmo team? Yeah. Three Houses was that the Koei Tecmo? Yeah.
I don't believe so.
Yeah. It was a collaboration between Intelligent Systems and Koei Tecmo. So yeah, this is the Koei Tecmo team.
Then this really doesn't make this a Nintendo Direct. It makes it a Koei Tecmo Direct because they were all over this thing.
They were, yeah.
Because if this is them, they had that. They had Hyrule Warriors. They had Pokemon Cotopia, whatever you want to call that thing. Then they had Fatal Frame, and there was something else that was in there from them as well. There was definitely another thing in there. So anyway,
yeah, they had their mitts all over this. But yeah, so this is from the Three Houses team, and yeah, I think it looks quite nice. The characters are quite fun looking, and from what we see in the trailer, quite interesting as well. Again, adult Sothis doesn't make any sense at all in terms of Fire Emblem lore, but like whatever, who cares, right? It's
from memory, wasn't she like the character lived in your head or something?
Yeah, so she's the character that lived in your head, but like she was also like an immortal goddess who like just was who appeared in that form because that is the form that she looks most powerful in, right? Like it doesn't make any sense for her to have aged since Three Houses because she's an immortal goddess that doesn't age. But whatever. Yeah, I liked Three Houses a lot. I will probably like this as well. Yeah. Interestingly, Byleth, who was the main character in Three Houses, could theoretically show up in this game no matter how far in the future it's set, because in 3 of the 4 story routes, sorry, spoilers for Three Houses there, in 3 of the 4...
No. Keep talking. I'm not going to listen. For
If 3 of the
Maybe
4
Angelo
story
will.
routes, Byleth becomes immortal. Okay. Yeah.
I'm still up to the time skip. I still haven't gone back after the time skip. So now it's been longer in my time skip than it has been in the in-game time skip since I played the game.
Yeah.
I've got to go back to that.
So yeah, I mean, this is good for the Fire Emblem weirdos, especially the Three Houses weirdos. So,
I mean,
good to see.
call them weirdos. Perverts
Sickos.
is the right answer for that.
Perverts is a good one. Yes.
Yeah.
Some of that fan art I've seen for Three Houses, perverts is the right word.
Yeah. Yeah. Go on, Angelo.
Oh no, I'm really keen for this. Like I said, I haven't finished Three Houses yet. And I really want to. I really want to. I can't.
Now you
just
really have
something-
incentive to do so.
I know something came out around that time, and I think it was Control. I think Control came out around the same time, and that took my attention, and I just focused on that, and then I just didn't go back to it. And then I was meant to go back last year when I was like, oh look, it's been about the same amount of time since the time skip, and then I just didn't. So I do really want to do that, and I do want to play whatever the sequel to that was. What was it called again? You just mentioned it before.
Three Hopes. That was the
Is that the one where they got the toothpaste there?
No, that's Engage.
Oh no, you're talking about Engage. Yeah.
Engage. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
No,
So I do want to play that.
The somewhat sequel to Three Houses is Three Hopes, which is the Muso game.
Yeah, right. I forgot about that one. Oh man, so many games to play. Yeah, but I do want to play Engage as well because that also looked kind of interesting. But like, as soon as you mentioned that Byleth could come back, I was like, oh, well, I mean, like any character could come back, right? That's the thing about Fire Emblem is that it's all about time travel. Like they all just like fall into a wormhole and they meet, their ancestors and descendants.
Well, there was that
blah, 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 blah.
Fire Emblem. I can't think of the name of it now. It had the crest, the shield, is sort of the big part of the logo on Switch, and that was like you were basically getting heroes from all the different Fire Emblem games coming in. It was a Muso game. It was the one before Three Hopes. Just can't think of the name of it.
I think that was just called Fire Emblem Warriors.
That might be it.
I think that's just what it was called.
Yeah. No, but this trailer looks a lot more dramatic. It looks a lot more kind of faction driven, like Three Houses was. How like it is about these they're always about warring factions, right? But this one more so. Seems to have like some bigger players in it, some larger consequences and things. It seems a lot more dramatic than some of the previous trailers we've had for these games. So yeah, I'm keen. Guy has a sick sword where he pushes a button or something and there's some teeth come out of it.
Yeah.
I'm into that.
It's like the most anime shit. I was like, yeah,
Yeah, I know, right?
Why not, man?
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, visually it looks like a lot of anime, so they're just leaning into it.
Yeah. I think I think the more they lean into that, the better, right? Like a lot of Fire Emblem games in the past have been like, oh no, this has to be like possible. I mean, obviously they have dragons and shit, but like they've tried to like stick to like pseudo realistic things, and this like I'm glad that they're just like not boxing themselves in and just like
it wasn't
press a button and fucking
Radiant Dawn on the
teeth come
Wii
out on a sword. Why not?
Radiant Dawn was the Wii one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wasn't that the GameCube one, wasn't it?
Whichever one was on the Wii. They tried
There was
being,
a
super
GameCube
serious.
game, and then the sequel, which was set at the same time, was on the Wii. So
Yeah.
it was kind of like the
They
same.
tried being like really serious about it, like like this could have happened, 800 years ago in England, sort of thing. And it even on Wii, it didn't really do so well. And it was the 3DS game that came out after it was sort of their last hurrah. And they're like, we're going to do what we really want to do, and that's the one that really sort of kicked everything off again because they were like, oh shit, now that we're not trying to be super serious, we can actually have fun with this, and people are responding to the fun we're having. So
I think Smash also did some favors there as well with Roy and
Yeah.
Marth. People really took to those characters like, oh, what is this?
So those are the major things from the direct. We'll quickly go over some of the other announcements, and if anybody has anything major to say about those, we can do that. So Hades 2 is coming to Switch and Switch 2 like in 2 days, probably like when this episode goes up. It has cross saves with the PC release, which is also going to 1.0 on the same day.
Oh dang, I didn't know that. Holy crap.
not many people do. It's being buried in a lot of their stuff. So
Dang.
Yeah.
All right.
Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade is coming on January 26th, which is nice. But it's also been confirmed that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and whatever the third part of that Final Fantasy VII Remake series It's also coming to Switch 2 in the future, which is good to hear.
And Xbox. People who are on Xbox.
And Xbox, yeah. For the 6 people still on Xbox, you can play it there as well. There is a little bit of weirdness around that. There's like a deluxe edition of that game where you can pre-order it and you get the original Final Fantasy VII as well, but they just kind of fucked it up on Switch, so you can't play the original game until this game comes out if you buy that bundle, so it's not really worth buying. It's also like $8 on the eShop right now, so like just go and buy it separately. Kirby Air Riders is getting a second direct, sure, and a pair of very expensive amiibo, but they're what was the game? Starlink style amiibo, where you can like swap out bits and pieces because you can take the characters off and then put them onto different vehicles and stuff.
Yeah, Monster Hunter stories have those amiibo that do that. You can take the rider off, put them on a different one. They don't actually have any functionality, but you can do that swap. So
yeah. Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, which is a canon prequel to Tears of the Kingdom. It's coming on November 6th. It has split screen co-op and it has game share, which whatever. There's a remake of Dragon Quest VII.
Yeah, this looks cool.
Which looked sick. I don't, and that's coming to Switch and Switch 2 on February 5. I don't exactly know why they're doing 2 concurrent remake series with entirely different art styles.
Yeah, I know, right? It's bizarre.
That's a really, like, wait until, like, DQ 1 and 2 is out before you announce this, right? Like, now you just are muddying the waters with your messaging. But anything to not do DQ 12, I guess, which is, yeah. But no, this looks absolutely sick. I think
they're doing this
Dragon Quest game forever.
I think they're doing this in like the years long lead up to 12, right? They're just trying to get everyone fired up for Dragon Quest, and it's working. Like, Dragon Quest fans are eating good at the moment.
Yeah, there's been so much good stuff.
If only there was Dragon Quest so that's 3.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. Yeah, and Project Zero is now known as Fatal Frame all around the world. It is just Fatal Frame, with a remake of Fatal Frame 2 called Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly coming in 2026. I mean, it looks nice, the remake, but it's still Fatal Frame, so, you know.
We'll just make a very quick mention of Dinkum. What the hell is that game? The most like I like when there are games that come out and they really try to have like an Aussie edge to them, but then as soon as I saw this was named Dinkum, I'm like, oh god, what like over the top Aussie thing is this? And I'm not trying to like crap on them. I'm just like, oh man, it's going full like Crocodile Dundee, but in like a farming sim kind of respect.
It kind of looks like My Sims Australia edition.
Yeah, kind of like that. It's fun. I'm sure it'll be fun.
I mean, that game has had some controversy in the past, which.
Oh, okay.
Basically, like, there's no Indigenous people in it, and
of course.
Like it's all about like uncovering Australia's past because it's like in the post-apocalyptic Australia, and there's just like nothing Indigenous about it. And then when the creator was asked about it, it was like, oh, I just didn't have any money to pay Aboriginal people, so I just didn't include them. And it's like, man, you can't do that.
Oh my god!
You have money now because you bring platforms.
I mean, put some effort in. God.
Yeah. Or just like talk to your Aboriginal friends, like they'll help you, right? Like,
yeah.
I mean, that's the figure.
There are a dozen, First Nations charity groups where you can go and learn about First Nations, across the country. 1 half-hour session with one of those would have been enough to give him some information to put in the game.
I'm sure he would have learned plenty in primary school. Like, damn.
Yeah. So a little bit of a weird choice there. I mean, I don't know if it's gotten better since then. I haven't really checked in on the game. Maybe it is a lot better now. I don't want to entirely write it off. I think it could be fine. But
first to console on Switch too. Switch, as you know, so
Switch as well.
I mean, there was also a new trailer for Tomodachi Life, which
there's some real sickos.
Yeah,
Tomodachi sickos. My gosh.
Yeah, I'm just scrolling through the list now to see if there's anything else that we missed.
Well, all right. So I will say that the highlight and the moment that my partner absolutely lit the F up was when Suika Game Planet came on the TV screen.
Okay, that does look
She-
sick, right?
She buzzed so hard on that one. And then
Oh.
as soon as they showed that there was multiplayer, she's like, we are absolutely playing this. I'm like, oh, fuck, all right. I guess we are. Dude, she like is like head deep into Suika Game, like so much. Like there was when I was away in Sydney, I was working there, like when I'd call her and stuff, she was just like hours into Suika Game each time I'd call her. She was so into that game, dude.
You know, against
with good reason. It is a very fun
19
game.
different variants of it.
Yeah. But this is the Rigidigi getting a
Yeah.
sequel, so.
Yeah, there were also Switch 2 editions announced for a bunch of games. One Piece Pirate Warriors 4, which I think I said that earlier in one of these, that One Piece Pirate Warriors 4 would get one, but now it is. Overcooked 2 is getting a Switch 2 edition. Stardew Valley is getting a Switch 2 edition.
Overcooked 2 on Switch 2 uses the camera, so you can see people's faces when you throw
Yeah.
something at them.
That's a fun thing, I guess.
Yeah, so Stardew Valley is getting a Switch 2 edition, which is free, by the way. It's a free update. You can
And the
just get it for
Stardew
free
Valley
now.
one adds mouse controls to the Switch mode and 4-player co-op on the console.
Yeah. And then Human Fall Flat is as well getting a Switch 2 edition, which, sure.
And also the other
Power
one,
Wash-
was other Switch 2 edition is Mario Brothers Wonder. So the full Super Mario Brothers Wonder Nintendo Switch 2 edition plus Bellabelle Park. Oh, sorry, Meet Up in Bellabelle Park.
Yeah, but that's paid update, right?
Probably.
Yes, that is a paid one, for sure. Power Wash Simulator 2 is also coming to Switch 2,
Which of course
Cool.
it was.
There was like a whole new paid DLC for Donkey Kong Bonanza that came out during the direct. It has a
Shadow
roguelike mode, and you get to explore Donkey Kong Island, which is fun. There were a bunch of stuff announced for Pokemon Legends ZA, but nobody cares about it. There's a remake of Danganronpa 2, which is a choice. Dynasty Warriors Origins is coming.
And the cool thing about that one, so that released early this year on all the other platforms. And on January 22nd, when Origins hits Switch 2, it comes with the DLC that will launch on the other platform the same day. So,
Monster Hunter Stories 3, which is looking really good, is coming out on March 13. And yeah, that's pretty much everything that was in there. It was a good director overall. I think it was what Nintendo needed to...
2 Point Museum got a date for Switch 2. Because we always knew that was coming. It's October 23rd or 28th, one of those.
Yeah. But yeah, so good direct overall, I think. I think it was exactly what Nintendo needed to show momentum for the Switch 2, because let's face it, Kirby Air Riders was not it for showing that the Switch 2 has got the gas. And this, I think, did a really good job of showing that, and showing that if you're playing on Switch 1, you can still enjoy quite a few games for the next year and a bit. So
the only thing that annoyed, there was two things that annoyed me. One is there was no really big, hey, we're going to work on this next. Like Fire Emblem, yeah, fine, that's fine. Some people like Fire Emblem, it's not for me. I enjoy the series, but I'm not foaming at the mouth for a new one. So there wasn't really any sort of hey, a year from now you might have this, right? There's nothing for that for me. And two, no Rhythm Heaven. Where the hell was Rhythm Heaven? That's supposed to be out in early 2026, and that just didn't show up. But we got a 5-minute Tomodachi Life section? I don't think so.
Well, Tomodachi Life is going to sell 5 times the amount of copies as Rhythm Heaven, unfortunately. So
that's irrelevant. It doesn't bother me. No, I just think it's weird that both those games were announced back in the February direct, and we got a big section on Tomodachi Life, even though the big thing for that was that they've delayed it, or they've given a release season, and then Rhythm Heaven just didn't show up anyway. So.
Just quickly, Nintendo's coming back to PAX Australia. It has a bunch of games that are going to be playable there: Pokemon Legends ZA, Kirby Air Riders, Hyrule Warriors: Age of Imprisonment, Metroid Prime 4, Hades 2, and the Final Fantasy VII Remake. I also played the Final Fantasy VII Remake when I went to Sydney a little while back, and it is really good. Silk Song and Mario Kart World are also playable. They're obviously already out though. And there's going to be a Mario Kart World competition. So if you're going to PAX Australia, there's a bunch of Nintendo stuff for you to do.
I'll be there
in
in
terms
PAX
of
Australia as well. So if you're around
Yeah.
and you see me, say hi.
Yeah. And there's also a couple games coming to the GBA app on Nintendo Switch Online, which is Klonoa Empire of Dreams, and Mr. Driller 2. So, yeah, quite good games, both of them. Yeah. We'll quickly go over the games that we're playing. Angelo, what have you been playing?
Not a whole lot lately. I finally finished Borderlands 1. My partner and I finished it a couple of nights ago. Still, good fun to have when you're kind of doing local co-op, playing that game together. And we're trying to just breeze through the DLC so we can just get to pre-sequel. And we did the zombie island of Dr. Ned, which is the first DLC pack of the game. There's like 4 or 5 in that game. And my God, it's very much of that time period when zombies were just everywhere. Like every bit of popular media was just zombies between 2004 and 2013 or something like that.
Yeah.
And this was just firmly in that bracket. And it was the least interesting thing I've done in Borderlands so far, was this, because it's just hordes of dudes getting thrown at you. And a lot of them are just ridiculous bullet sponges. And the worst part was that some of them would just spit some sort of bile at you, which would just stick you in place. So there were points where we're just trying to sprint from, where we get spawned into the world and just get straight to the checkpoint because we're trying to get past these damn things. And you just get spat on and then you're just stuck and you cannot move and you're just and you die, you have to go back and do it again. It's just a real slog. It was not a fun bit of DLC, but it's also not that long. I think all up, we played about maybe 2 hours of it. If we weren't getting stuck all the time, we probably would have done it like an hour and a half. But yeah, no, I had fun with Borderlands 1. I'm curious to see how some of the other DLC goes, but I'm more looking forward to getting into pre-sequel and then 2. But I don't think we're going to get into 4 anytime soon, though. We'll wait for that one to come down in price.
And have its performance fixed.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything to do with that yet, so.
Luke, what have you been playing? Anything of note? Anything you're allowed to talk about?
That's the hard part. So I finished playing through Star Wars Outlaws on Switch the other day. That's a fantastic port. I loved the game on Xbox, and I played the hell out of it last year. So for this one, I just, and I threw it on story mode. I wasn't caring about fighting all the enemies and all that sort of stuff. I just wanted to get through, see all the places. And it's just damn good fun. And the reason I know it's on Switch is when you get up close to the non-hero characters, so like the NPCs or animals, their hair looks like shit, which I just thought was hilarious because I give Capcom credit, rag on Capcom for not doing good hair overall, but the Switch 2 version of Star Wars Atlas has bad hair. But yeah, so that was just fantastic. I've been playing through. So I played Battlefield 6 recently as part of a preview with EA. That was playing through 2 maps. So one's a brand new map for the series called Merak Valley, which is sort of like an Eastern European sort of town, giant power lines and all that sort of stuff. And then the other one was Operation Firestorm, which first launched in Battlefield 3, then came back in 4, and now it's coming back here as one of my favorite maps in the series. So they've made some tweaks to it, but it's still just good fun. So yeah, everything else I've been playing is unfortunately it's all embargoed. So
yeah. Well, the thing that I've been playing is embargoed, but I think this will not go up before the embargo happens, which is 5 p.m. tomorrow. So, yeah. I've been playing...
it could. Depends on how quick I get through it.
I'm just not going to do the words until after the embargo happens. Yeah. So I've been playing Silent Hill F, which is the first new Silent Hill game in 15 years.
Try again. It's been the first new Silent Hill game in about 18 months. First proper Silent Hill game in about 15 years, though.
Yeah. So yeah, it's set in 1960s Japan. You play as a teenage girl, and it is absolutely sick. I think it's genuinely the best Silent Hill game to date. And I'm a big Silent Hill sicko. I think even the bad games are good. But yeah, I was blown away by this. And it has a cyclical thing. So each time you play through it, there's more story that happens. It's through a new game plus kind of system, which is super nice. Terrible for if you're trying to review something because you want to finish the game, but then they just add a story's worth of story in subsequent playthroughs. But yeah, it's a very, very good game. So
honestly, it sounds like they were like, "Hey, so this is the story we've come up with," and then somebody goes, "But what about if at this point this happens instead?" And it's like, "Well, then there would," and then, yeah, "But what about And they're just like branching off stories. They're like, "Well, let's just put them all in the game. That's fine. People will enjoy
exactly,
that."
that's pretty much exactly how it is. But yeah, I'm excited for more people to play that. There's a lot of really fascinating stuff, and yeah, I saw this YouTube thumbnail and video that was like, "Oh, this proves that Silent Hill F is not woke." You're wrong. It is the wokest of the Silent Hill games. So suck shit, far right people. It is extremely woke, and you're just gonna have to not play it. Yeah. Nintendo turn of questions. Angela, you were the game master this week.
Let's do it. This was a suggestion by one of our Vook's community members, JD Phoenix, who I believe went around and sent everyone suggestions.
He
So
did.
I picked one of his.
All right. Was this game released in the 2000s? In the
No.
noughts? Okay.
It was not.
Sorry, so just I want to clarify with Ollie. When you said 2000, did you mean like 2000 and on, or just in the first decade of this
No, he
century?
said the aughts.
Just
He said the
the
aughts.
aughts.
Yeah, but he said that after you answered.
No, that's fine.
No,
That's
that's
what I meant.
I want to make that a blanket rule. Whatever we say the 2000s is 2000 to 2009, right?
Okay.
That's
Okay.
what we mean by 2000s.
Okay.
And tag Michael on that statement.
All right. Was this game released after, January 2010?
No.
Did this game release on a Nintendo home console?
Yes.
So it's a home console.
64, SNES, or Mega Drive? Mega Drive. NES.
Yes, the Nintendo Mega Drive.
I mean, the Nintendo PlayStation exists in some form. So. We should do an episode on that one day, just so people are aware of the history of that.
I'm sure people know all about it. There are plenty of YouTube videos on that one.
True. All right. Was this game released on a? Did this game release on Super Nintendo?
No.
Okay, so it's either 64 or NES.
I'm feeling the 64.
That feels more right. But I mean, Mr. Phoenix did provide Michael with the Blizzard game recently, so
That was a very good one.
it was.
That was a very good suggestion.
Well, see, the fun thing is, right, like, I have a list of games that it can't be, because Jamie also sent me a bunch of games, and he said that he didn't them up.
I didn't get anything. I feel left out now. All right, I mean, was this game released for the Nintendo 64?
Yes.
So then the obvious question is, published by Nintendo. Was this game published by Nintendo?
No.
Sorry, did we ask if it's licensed?
No. We spent 6 questions just getting down to the fact that it's a 64 game, not published by Nintendo.
All right, is this a licensed game?
Yes.
Oh, there we go.
It's Superman for the Nintendo 64. Okay. Oh god, I mean, it can't be Xena because we already had Xena. Angelo's just frantically typing to make sure we haven't had it before.
No, I scratched my nose. That's all I did.
All right.
A Spider-Man game?
I don't think there were any Spider-Mans on 64. I know there were a few on PlayStation at the time, but I don't think 64 got any. Is the license based off of a comic book?
No.
That knocks out like the Batman and the Superman game.
Yeah. and Ninja Turtles. Were there any Ninja Turtles game on the 64?
No, they had a big break between Super Nintendo and GameCube.
That's a shame. Was this? I'm thinking Power Rangers, but I don't know of any Power Rangers games on the N64.
Yeah, Power Rangers Power Battle.
There was something like that.
There's also
it could be
things
a
like
Star Wars as well.
Yeah, there's also like Toy Story 2 on the 64.
Yeah. Well, there was A Bug's Life. That was sick.
Yeah. Is this license based off of a movie property?
No.
Okay. Well, that knocks out literally everything I said except Power Rangers. So I'm willing to go with Power Rangers if you want to just take a guess now and call this early.
Let record. So let me think. So licensed game. See, there's also the Holden Adventure Racing or Beetle Adventure Racing, depending on which part of the world you lived in. I'm just trying to think what else there could be. Is this game considered a fighting platformer, like a fighting adventure style game? It's not like Mortal Kombat where it's just one-on-one. Yeah, okay.
No, it's 10 down. So we haven't got genre. That's your first question on genre so far.
I mean, Turok can't be Turok because they're based off a comic, so...
I've also got Turok 3 in my mentions in the DM that I have from.
There were 4 of them on the 64, so who knows which one could have been? He could have sent us each a different Turok. Rage Wars is the one that I'm thinking of. That's the 4th one that people forget about.
Are there any prominent like TV shows that got games? Was there a DuckTales?
No, there was only NES. There were 2 games on the NES. Nothing that pops up. This is the one time we needed Michael here because he's got this like encyclopedia of 64 shit.
Yeah. If it's on the N64 or on the GameCube, like Michael either has it or knows about it. So
yeah, it's true.
All right, so the only other game I can think of is that Holden Adventure Racing, Beetle Adventure Racing. Was this game developed in North America?
Let me just do a quick check on that one. Yeah. Oh. Oh God. Where is the answer I'm looking for? All right. Let's just say yes and no.
Okay.
Oh, that's a very hard one for me to answer. I do apologize for the dead air on that one.
Actually, Ollie, one of the options could be South Park.
Oh, it could be.
It was based off a TV show. There was the first-person shooter one. There was also like the kart racing game that was PlayStation exclusive.
Oh, wait, hold on. Let me re-clarify on that one. There was some information that tripped me up. Yes, this one was developed in North America.
Okay.
Is the developer? I don't know if we should ban this question, but is the developer of this game still in business?
Yes, I believe so.
Should have clarified because the claim just came back. It's like, is the developer of the game still in business as they were back then, not like relaunched as a stupid publishing now? Okay. Is this game considered a racing game?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm trying to think what other racing games would be there that are licensed. Need for Speed wasn't on the 64. Its first Nintendo entry was on GameCube.
There was a South Park racing game, but it was developed in Australia, right?
Yeah, but that didn't come to 64 though. I thought that was PlayStation exclusive.
No, it was N64.
Okay.
100%. I had a copy of it, which is funny because I wasn't allowed to watch South Park as a child. So.
I mean, I did ask if it was developed in North America, so.
Yeah.
Let me just check at my wall of 64 games.
I mean, surely it can't just be like Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. I mean, no, because it's a film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, does this game have a different name depending on which part of the world you live in?
That's actually a good question. I don't believe so. So I'd say no.
Okay. I know it was a silly question, but it's like because in Australia,
no, it's a legit question.
But in Australia, we got VW Racing, Adventure Racing, but we also got a Holden specific version of it.
Yeah,
just exactly the same, except they just replaced all the cars with Holden.
Well, I mean, Star Fox 64 and Lilac Wars 64 is another good example, even though it's not that game.
Racing game on the 64.
14 questions. 5 and a guess.
Because now I'm trying to think, like, what other racing games were around back then? I mean, Vigilante 8, Carmageddon, but I don't think they were licensed.
I was going to say Mickey's Speedway, but that was developed by Rare, which would not be North America.
And in a weird twist, was not published by Nintendo, it was published by THQ.
Yeah.
So, alright. Is this considered a kart racing game?
Yes, I'd say so.
Okay. So that knocks out anything sort of like Need for Speed or whatever, and brings us back down to like Mario Kart or Mickey Speedway. So it's like, what other?
Yeah.
I wouldn't hang on to that one. Oh no, I won't say anything. No, it's fine.
Okay.
Forget I said anything just then.
So it makes me think. Like, I don't think there was any Nickelodeon racing.
No, way too early for that, right?
Yeah. There was a Cartoon Network
Were there any like
racing game on the Wii, I know that, but I don't know about anything earlier.
I'm thinking like were there any like too early for Bionicle? It could be Lego. Was there a Lego kart racer?
Not that jumps to mind, because I don't think Lego games weren't really big until Lego Star Wars, and that was definitely GameCube.
Yeah, but I was thinking like this was around the time that we got like that Lego Island game on PC and shit, so I wouldn't be surprised if there was like a Lego racing.
Yeah, it does. Nothing jumps out as having been there, but I can't think.
I feel like I vaguely remember one, but I just don't know for sure.
Yep, 4 more questions and I guess.
Micro Machines. I'm certain there was a Micro Machines game on 64.
Was it licensed though?
I mean, Micro Machines is a license.
Oh, is it? Yeah, I mean you can try. You can ask something that might get that.
Because I'm thinking like there was a couple of cruising games, but they're definitely not kart races. Or or definitely not. Sorry, realistic racing. I know there were some F1 games because I have a few of those.
There were Hot Wheels games.
Yeah.
Hot Wheels Turbo Racing. That was a thing.
I mean, is this game based off a toy property?
Yes.
Okay.
That also knocks out, like, I think there were some NASCAR and Indy racing games at the time.
I'm just watching gameplay video of it right now, and I'll fill you in on why I'm kind of like chuckling to myself after we finish up.
Okay.
Yes,
I mean,
16 questions, 3 questions and a guess to go.
I know, like, the Micro Machines and Hot Wheels are both owned by Hasbro now, and obviously, if there was a Lego racing game, it's owned by Lego. So we could ask if it's an IP owned by Hasbro. I don't know it down.
Yeah, give it a go.
Is this IP owned by Hasbro?
No.
I feel pretty confident there's Lego. As confident as I can be for not remembering the name or existence of a Lego racing game.
I honestly I don't even recall there being a Lego racing game on 60. But if you feel that that's the option, we'll go with that one. Okay, is this game based off the Lego IP?
Yes.
Okay. Are you going to give it to us if we get the name wrong?
What name are you thinking of giving me?
Well, I was just going to say Lego Racing, because, like, what else could it be?
You can certainly ask that.
I mean, I just go with Lego.
We'll see what happens.
Lego Racing wouldn't make sense as a name on a box, but Lego Races would make sense because it's like you're racing, but it's your races with Lego figures or whatever. I'm just thinking like from a marketing.
I feel
point
like
of view.
I saw a TikTok that mentioned that. Yeah, I mean that's the best we've got. So you may as well ask.
It's your game.
I think yours is more likely than mine.
All right, we've only got 2 questions and a guess to go. So I'm happy to put up Lego Races now, and we'll call it. We get it. No, we don't. All right. Is this game Lego Races?
Can you just spell the second word of that title for me, please?
RACIST. No, RACERS. Lego Races with an RS.
Okay. So, developed in 1999.
Hold on, just quickly. If this is called Races without an R, I'm going to lose my position.
So, developed and released in 1999 on the N64. The N64 version specifically developed in the US by High Voltage Software, who went on to be quite important in the Wii era with the Conduit. With a Game Boy Color version that's not part of this question, developed by Climax Studios, which is based elsewhere, which is why I was confused about where the game was developed. It is Lego Racers for the N64. It is a kart racing game based on the Lego properties, which is again why I had to just double check, because you asked if it was like a kart racing game, and I was like, wait, so what constitutes a kart racing game? Yes, you're racing in karts, but kart racers were also well known for having like power-ups and things like that, and I wasn't sure if that was in here, and so I quickly had to scan the article, and I did find that there were power-ups and things, and then I was watching footage to show that yes, there are power-ups and speed boosts and all that kind of fun stuff. And the thing that I was chuckling at is that the music is so very, very annoying. It is just all MIDI junk that's just so annoying to listen to.
Listeners are going to love it then, because I always put music from whatever game is picked at the end. After we announce the name, I put the music at the end of the episode, so they get to listen to this, whatever it is.
Yeah, so the game came to Windows, so PC, N64, PlayStation, and Game Boy Color as well. But yeah, Lego Racers.
So I just know pre-Lego Star Wars, there were Lego games, but I just know that they weren't considered to be amazing, to be really good.
They were just their own Lego specific games. They weren't
Yeah.
licenses of licenses, basically.
Yeah, and then once they picked up Star Wars and stuff, they started doing that. That's when they started gaining popularity. And then now, more recently, Lego are doing like Party, Lego Voyages. There's another one coming, or which is coming out. But they're doing more like just traditional like games with Lego and not specifically tied to Lego Batman or Lego Spider-Man or whatever.
Yeah. Apparently, the game's a bit of a cult hit. I had never heard of the game beforehand. I hadn't seen it before. Before JD Phoenix's suggestion. So yeah, thanks JD.
Yeah, thank you, JD, for all of the suggestions that you've given. Give some to Luke because he's missing out here.
Hang on, I have enough of games of my own to talk. But if you want to help with that torture,
yeah. I will just say, JD Phoenix, also known as Jamie, he does have a YouTube channel, and because he has been so helpful, I do very much recommend you go check it out. It's at JD Phoenix Gaming on YouTube. He does a bunch of like Super Metroid map randomizers and stuff like that. It's quite a fun watch, so go check it out because he does good stuff. All right. That about wraps up this episode of the Vookcast. So be sure to visit the site, vooks.net, for all your news, reviews, and everything in between. To keep up to date, follow the site on Blue Sky. I was going to say Twitter, but fuck that.
No,
just at vooks.net or jumping over to our Discord at bit.ly/vooksdiscord. You can find all of our social information and links for all of the episodes covered in today's episode in the notes or description or whatever on whatever platform you're listening or watching on. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you in the next show.